podcast.
Hello, everybody. Extreme Gaming Podcast, episode 239. We're recording this on August 1st, 2024. And this is Grey Gamer 25. And I also do the GGR broadcast, Gray's Green Room, as well as you'll find out on my next gentlemen that are joining us right now. You probably already know them, but here they are anyway. Go.
Oh, okay. So I'm Irish Garden, also known as Matt in normal life.
Matt was horrified when I opened a can of cider, man. Are you okay, mate? What happened?
I was.
Is it flashbacks?
I was like, It was.
Actually,
time.
Matt,
here we go.
Matt's not wrong, actually, because in the notes, Trev is supposed to be up after me.
I know. Yeah.
See?
Oh. He likes to switch things around.
I don't know. Did it? What? Wait a minute.
Keeping on the toes.
No, it was done the right way. I just wanted to open a can. That was worthy of an introduction. All by itself.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
That was the start of it.
It's Trev.
But we couldn't hear the. You have to put it up to the mic next time.
I did.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Yeah.
What do you call that?
That's a terrible cider. Get a new one.
Sad. Hey, it's Trev. Remember the Trek way. And like Gray said about his show, it's good. Yeah. So.
By the way, we're going to get some paperwork out of the way. Join our Discord, peoples. Discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. That's all one word. Again, that's discord.gg, Extreme Gaming Podcast. If you don't remember it, just Google Extreme Gaming Podcasts and the Discord will come up one way or the other. If you ever want to submit any questions and you are in our Discord, you want us to answer on the air, go ahead and put it in our Gen Chat and we will get to them. Of course, we told you about Gray's Green Room and the Trekway. We do a lot of stuff with that. In fact, we just finished doing a whole bunch of stuff on the Trekway with the last issue on Prodigy. Other than that, you boys been good? All good?
I'm always good, mate. Even when I'm crap, I'm good. So can't complain. I wish I had time for more games, though. That's one of the problems I've got. Though.
I was just thinking about that. It always runs this way, where there's just either no games or there's garbage games, and nobody wants to play, and then all of a sudden everything starts springing. Now you've got like all kinds of stuff. We'll be talking about Once Human in a second, and there's a bunch of other things that have come out I can't even keep up with. But that's a good thing. I'd rather that than not, because there's plenty to cover that way. So all good.
Well, blame Matt for that one. He's coming up with this new game and that new game, and I'm like, no, I can't do it, Captain. I can't do it. Yeah,
well, we are going to definitely make it more of an endeavor the three of us right here to play at least once a week on our Discord or more.
Yeah.
And we will try to do a little Twitch streaming when we do that and stuff like that. Because why? Because it's fun. That's why. That
will come. Listen, we've got plans, guys. We've got plans. We need to stop being so busy and pull the fingers at our backsides. Like, I want to stream on YouTube as well as Twitch, and maybe even fit in Facebook and TikTok at the same time. We're just looking at options. We want to stream when we're playing games. We want to do it live in the Discord and or Twitch at the same time, and I'm even going to get Gray to stream American time late in the evening when everyone else is asleep, so that he's pulling his weight as well. So
we got to whip him.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. I'm going to pay Son.
I'll stream when you guys are sleeping, and people will come in and go, "What happened to the other two?"
I'll
call them.
I'm going to pay Son to go in there with a whip and just keep them streaming like indefinite. No, I think it's a good thing, because people think of the Streamer House. That's, I don't know if any of you guys know that. Matt might know that. Streamer House on Twitch. They literally are a bunch of lads in a house that take turns about. So if I'm not streaming, then you're streaming, Gray. So that'd be good.
There's a few people who do that. There's a few groups that do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
A couple of AI.
Yeah, Soviet Womble and his crew.
Blue and Queenie. Blue and Queenie is
Blue
one.
And Queenie, yeah.
Father and son.
Speaking of AI, though, it was funny. I was watching the Olympics and stuff, which has been pretty cool, by the way. And they came on and they said, there's a guy here, a famous podcaster. Yeah, right. Broadcaster of sports. His name's Al Michaels. Everybody over here knows who he is. He's one of the best. So they come on and they go like, so we're running a special now where you can get the highlights of the Olympics from AI Al. And I'm going like, what? So as I start listening to it, apparently Al Michaels lent his permission, and of course he gets residuals as well, from his voice. And so they had AI training on his voice And apparently now they write up the highlights of the Olympics in like a short form if you haven't been able to really watch. And Al Michaels' AI voice reads it. And I heard a little bit of it, and it's still got to learn a little bit, but I was like surprised how well it sounded.
Great. Olympic question for you, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Olympic sport and why?
Wow, that's kind of hard, only because the thing I like about the Olympics is that
will
it
be
has
after
so
you
many
watch this one.
sports. The what now?
Mine's beach volleyball. Matt beach volleyball.
Well, let's wait. We gotta be more specific. The women's beach volleyball.
No, I'm just going to leave it at beach volleyball so that I can't technically offend anyone.
I wasn't offending anybody.
No. But
there might be people that don't like the beach.
I don't want anyone to think I'm a male chauvinistic pig. I like beach volleyball. It's the technique is great. It's
Volleyball.
You're digging a hole now.
Volleyball. They're the same thing.
To be truthful, though, I like a lot of the sports on there. It's the only time you get to see sports that really aren't broadcast that often.
Olympics are boring, in all seriousness, man.
No, some of it's great. Like I like some of the sailing. You see the sailing they did and the sculling.
The niche stuff is good, right? See when you see people running around tracks and jumping and stuff, I'm like, nah. But if you see something like what is the is whitewater rafting or something? But they usually have to build little small because you can't do that naturally and film it, so they build a little course.
They build it, yeah. It's amazing what they build. It's crazy. Cool. It is, and that's, man, I sit there and I watch these athletes, and I'm just like, floored at how good these people are. And now they have, like, I was watching the BMX cycling, right? And they have these guys doing the tricks that you've seen before, but oh my God, I saw some of these top guys that were going for, a medal. I don't even know how they do this. They're up in the air and they literally grab the handlebars while in the air and spin the bicycle, the whole bicycle around by the handlebars 3 times before they come back down.
Yeah.
All within like a second or two. I'm like going, whoa.
What's Matt's favorite Olympic? I know this is not gaming, but it was great it brought it up, so it's his fault. What's Matt's favorite Olympic sport?
Olympic wine tasting.
Ooh, what? You look very sophisticated there with your glass, and you're holding it as if it's something inappropriate. I'm not even going to say it. You're holding it like it's one of them.
Smell it with your nose, and then you'll be an official sommelier.
I'm sitting here with a can of cider, and he's been classy with this. Has turned into this has turned into the Extreme Pest Gaming Podcast brought to you. Have a cigar going.
Except what's in mine is like you can see if you're watching the video.
Oh, look at that bit of Joey right there.
That's coffee going on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so we digress, but that's okay. We like to do that.
Olympic games.
We do that. So
Olympic
let's move on.
Gymnastics. I like gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on. There's
that and shooting.
sports.
That's it. Bring back to OGs.
How about shot put? The guy that throws this big old metal ball as far as they can.
I could do that.
That's the Highland Games. Yeah. That's the Highland Games, man.
I'm always throwing my balls around.
Yeah, it's a Highland
They should just come up with an AI game we can all play and pretend we're Olympic
caber
stars.
tossing.
They do.
And
they have
all that stuff. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. They've added quite a few new things as well.
We promised last week, and even kind of promised the week before that we were going to talk about Once Human. So we didn't feel we had enough hours into it, so we wanted to talk about it now because we have got a chance. We consider Matt our mentor because he's put in about 3 times the amount of hours we have.
10 times.
But we have played the game solo. We have played the game together. And I really like the game. I've been, there's little things here and there, but it is early access. So you're going to find, not everything perfect. But I do like it because there's some new things that they've kind of introduced in the game that are not typical. Off the top of my head, for a person like me who doesn't really, get into the survival games, usually because it involves, you drink water every 5 minutes or you die. You eat something every 5 minutes or you die. It's
called a survival game.
You look the wrong way, you die. I mean, it's just like, okay. So finally, I think Enshrouded was the first one to do this, where you don't have to drink, but drinks give you a buff. And you don't have to eat either, really, unless you want a buff. But you won't die. In this game, yes, you will die if you don't eat. You will die if you don't drink. But once you drink and once you eat, it lasts for quite a while. I mean, at least you can get something done, or you don't just die all of a sudden. And it was funny because I was playing with these guys or whatever, and I was like dying for about like a half an hour. I'm telling them I'm dying.
I was so
I didn't
annoyed.
do anything about food.
I was like, would you drop down dead already, man, and give us peace? Come on.
Exactly. I think maybe Matt, you might be better for explaining the overall gist of the game, and then we can kind of comment from there.
Oh, well. So far as I could tell, is that you're in a dimensional world. There's a few dimensional worlds on there that I can tell you about. I sound like Trump. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so you have these creatures. You also got these, what do they call them?
Deviants.
Deviants. That's who are like the big bosses and the little things that you collect as well. So pretty much you're a meta human who is there to guide this good deviant, I guess you could call her. Yeah. So yeah. So she was captured by a group of naughty soldiers who decided to use her powers to make meta humans as part of their forces. It all went wrong, and then the deviants came into the world, and they have like mutations of that. So your job is to gain areas in the map, complete monuments that will take care of the bosses, and then give power back to this girl. Yeah, pretty much this girl that it came from in the beginning, so she can get her powers back. Yeah, there you go. There's the gist of it. But
wow.
Yeah.
I think the girl, I guess, as it was Mashiko.
Mashiko, that's it. Yes.
Mashiko, yeah. She's a butterfly girl, in other words.
Yeah, nice, very nice.
Because right away when you wake up very soon in the game, you end up acquiring this butterfly. Again, we're going at it just one thing at a time to learn what's going on. And the butterfly apparently will assist you. It goes into your backpack. It stays in its own little case, and then you put it in your backpack. And you can hit E on a keyboard, and it goes and attacks some things. However, it's limited in what it can do because it'll run out of its own energy fairly quickly, and has to get back to your backpack to regenerate. But it's something new to see it. And then I think I was playing the other day and I was watching Matt, and I didn't realize how many other deviants are out there that you can collect. And I was like, collect.
There's loads.
And he's going like, yeah. So I went into his house that he had built, and he had like 5 or 6 cases that look similar, like a glass display case, to where the butterfly, like I have, is in. And yet he had these other little deviants, and I was asking him what some of them did, and he was saying like, well, this guy fights for you and this guy cleans for you. I thought that was pretty fun.
The little paper fella. Yeah.
Someone that cleans for you?
Yeah. I wish that could happen in real life. That'd be nice.
So what did he do? I didn't see it work in game, but what does he do in game? Run around sweeping?
Yeah, he just runs around sweeping around your house, inside your building and everything, keeping everything nice and tidy. Yeah, so you get like loads of different ones. You get one that will mine for you. Ones that will do logging for you, one that will start crafting potions and things. You get different crafting deviants they can get.
Can you get one of them that will play beach volleyball for you?
Maybe Mashiko. Yeah.
She's hot. Check at the start.
Yeah.
The Asian girl.
She's not bad. Yeah. When it comes to graphics, it's not bad.
No, the graphics are actually pretty good.
Yeah. All characters look very feminine.
Yeah. I think everything is shaping up in the game. I mean, I think I like it just because it's different. I never saw some of the things that we're experiencing in the game, and I haven't played it nearly as many hours, and yet I like just what's going on anyway. Again, I'm not a big fan sometimes of building stuff. I like to acquire stuff instead.
Yeah.
But the thing I was impressed with is that if you didn't want to just flat out build your own place, they have presets or prefab homes. And there's like 6 or 7 or 8 of them, varying differences in them. And once you do it, now it did take quite a while for me to figure this one out, though. But you pick the house you want, and then it sets up a blueprint, and then you have this little projector appears and projects the blueprint out on wherever you're going to build it. And then apparently from that point, if you have unlocked all the materials that you need to build it, then you actually walk into the blueprint, so to speak, and start laying down everything you need. And because the blueprint is projecting the entire house in like a blue haze, you can actually see where everything needs to go. And on top of that, it also shows you, you can read it right on the screen, what part is what, and then you just go ahead and click it and build, and you can build rather quickly, which I like. Some people maybe don't, but I prefer it. So I'm just going like click, 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 and before I know it, I have the house. So that was a lot of fun. And there's many resources in the game. I mean, like copper and steel and tin and sulfur, and you have to build gear benches. You have to make your own weapons. You have to, make your own bullets and things. But I like it because it's not so. Some of the games, like if you want to build bullets, let's say, you have to go through so much garbage to be able to get the right stuff, and then you finally get it, and then it doesn't really. It produces like 5 bullets, and I'm like, 5 bullets. Yeah, I'll be shooting that in one enemy and probably dying. But this time when you go and you produce it, it's not asking you for a ton of resources, a fair amount, but not a ton. And then you can make a box of ammo, which is more like 40 bullets or 50 bullets or 60 bullets, so it gives you a little better chance. And there's always better weapons around. I took a quick peek at an interactive map, and there's a lot of chests around to find. So everywhere you go, you just constantly, and I like that kind of stuff. And if it's useful stuff, it's great. If I'm collecting it for a achievement, I could care less because I'm not a big achievement person. But if it's something that's going to work for my game or give me something that I really need, it's great. I mean, I love getting all this stuff, and you can even build your own too. But look first, because you might be blowing off resources on something that you might have been able to collect. And the guys here, Trev and Matt, were telling me that, and I didn't really realize it until I started kind of getting out a little bit more, and then I started seeing what you can do. And I have a sniper rifle because I love sniping, and so I have a nice sniper rifle that actually works in this game, because some other games it doesn't do crap. So I was like impressed that I actually could do something with it, which is nice because I can we went somewhere, I forget, guys, and I was set up as a sniper for one of these bosses that we had to kill. And these two were hitting it from a little bit closer. And so between us all nailing them, one from afar, one closer up, we defeated the enemy. And I thought that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing co-op like that. It was a blast. But before I blab on too much.
Is that the one that Matt was... I think he must have stopped off at every beach volleyball destination, pub, library, swimming pool on the way, and he got lost multiple times, and we were all... Come on, Matt.
Oh, yeah, we're trying to enter.
He's a team leader.
We had to enter in to fight the enemy, and we're waiting for Matt. Matt, we're here. Where? Over here.
But that was fun going in and busting up, because Matt's Billy Big Balls, and he's like way bigger, higher level. So he just comes in swinging, and with his high rank and his weapons and his charm and all that. And it was good fun.
His charm.
I like that. It's like a raid from Destiny kind of thing. So my take on this game, if I may.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mixed emotions. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I mean, I have to remember it's free to play, so that automatically gives it some kudos. Would I pay for that on its own? No, because there's so many games out at the moment. It's really hard competition at the moment. I would maybe pay for it if it was early access and it was like £20 at the most or something like that, So the fact it's early access free game with a battle pass, that's absolutely fine. I started playing it, and I scanned through a lot of the lore and the story and stuff at the start, because like Matt was ahead, so I wanted to get to that stage quickly, and maybe I should have paid attention, but it's a brand new franchise. Like, I pay attention at the Destiny stuff because I love that lore and franchise. But this, I'm like, butterflies and like zombie type thing. Nah, I'm just scanning on. So I'm glad Matt paid attention and was able to kind of tell me the story a little bit. Thank you. Does sound more fascinating than I thought. I do like the building mechanics in this game. They are decent. I had that concern last week. We did briefly talk about Once Human last week, Matt, but we could only talk about it briefly because we hadn't played it as much as you, so we saved most of it till tonight. But what we were discussing last week is I said that I hadn't played it for like 6 days before, and I went in, and I think I told you this, I tried to play the game as normal, my base was gone. A message popped up in the server, went, it's gone, you haven't logged in for a bit, and I'm like, it's less than a week, man, come on. Their servers are rammed, to be fair. So I was like, right, okay, let's see what happens. I turned it off. I came back to a day or two later, and I said to the guys, I went, if my base is gone and I can't get it back quickly, I'm out. I'm not interested in having to do that again. Thankfully, what it does is to save space on the server, it literally takes your base away, but it kind of saves it as a temporary blueprint, and you just literally bring out your building tool, hammer thing, whatever it's called, and then you see the silhouette of what you built before your base and you plonk it down. So I'm glad for that because I wasn't interested in doing it again. The building is good but weird. Matt literally has an American house. Literally, it's not like a normal survival game where you build like Rust, where you build something more survival. Matt's turned into a full-blown property developer and made his own gaff upstairs, downstairs. He's got balcony. He's got helpers in there. He's got slaves, like, in the little containers that clean up for him and do other inappropriate things that we can't talk about before 9 p.m. But I love what Matt's done. He had a motorcycle as well. I've got my motorcycle, yes, finally, although it's slower than a week in jail.
I got mine right away after I knew there was one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The eating thing and the drinking thing, I don't get why Gray has such a problem with this, because I kept saying to him, I said, listen, I've not had to go out and search and look for water or food yet. I will have to do it soon. I've naturally picked it up as I went along. And I'm a hoarder as well. I will grab lots of stuff until I need to get rid of it. And that's what I've been doing. I mean, water's easy enough. You quickly put up a quick temporary base, boil some dirty water that's everywhere. Food that you pick up so much of it anyway, although it does spoil. So I have no problems with that so far. The bad guys, the enemies look cool. Can I just say it has got a Stranger Things vibe at one point. I thought I was tripping. I thought I was tripping balls and acid at the same time when I came across a massive bus with legs on it that stood up, and I was like, what? and then Matt's like, hack its legs, and then you'll bring the bus down and you can go in, there's a chest in there. So I went, no, I hacked it, got the stuff out, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, guys, I can't complain, it's free.
The bus seems to drop enemies first, and then
it does,
and then you can kill some enemies. But once you get on it, it's kind of neat. You're inside it, and there's no enemies inside, and you can just sit there the whole time. It goes on a predestined whatever travel. But it is pretty cool, and the whole thing is, I like how the physics of it are. When you're in there, the whole thing's rocking, like it's going ba-doom, ba-doom, and you're just rocking back and forth with it as it goes.
There was no enemies for me.
Some of the other enemies that we fought are pretty Stranger Things looking-ish kind of too, with the tree. They look like something
out of Lord of the Rings.
Monster. Yeah, the purple tree people-y looking things. Yeah,
they seem to look like trees a lot because a lot of them look kind of like stalky looking tree monsters. So I guess they're into that. I don't know.
That was amusing.
But the food thing, though, to explain what was going on with me is I was so intent on trying to figure out how to build this one tower. I ended up giving up on the tower and going for a house because it was a wee bit simpler. But I was convinced I needed to figure this out. I didn't want to just look it up, and even if you do, it doesn't make sense. So I spent all that time, and all of a sudden I'm like dying from hunger, and I didn't pay attention to where food was. So it was hilarious. These guys are like cracking up laughing, and I'm trying to find like a vending machine with food in it. So I finally see a vending machine, and I run, and I got like, 2 minutes till you're dead. So I just run to the vending. Then what was even funnier is I go to the vending machine, and they have like 2 pieces of food in it. And I'm going like, really? I ran all this way to get 2 pieces of food. So I eat both pieces of food, and of course my stomach fills up just a tiny bit, and before I know it, I'm dying again. And then I got to figure out what to do, and I'm like, ugh. And then I saw that there's a bunch of animals.
Quietly.
That's exactly what they were telling me. That was exactly what they were saying to me, and we were all laughing. And then finally I figured, I saw some animals in this one area. So what do? I go over there. There's no freaking animals when they were there before. And I'm like, oh, please. I said, all I need to do is kill one and I'm all right. It was hilarious. I didn't actually die though. I got really close, razor's edge, and stuff, but I was able to finally, bag something just to eat a little bit. And then I didn't realize that in this game, there's a mechanic where you go crazy. I mean, literally your mental faculties start leaving you.
Oh, I know what the mechanic's called. I know what the mechanic's called. It's Gray bitching and moaning about not eating for 2 hours, and you just go nuts because you're playing with him.
That's exactly right. So I just went like, oh,
side of it.
I didn't know that was what was a thing, and I'm not looking at the meter, and all of a sudden I'm like about ready to go bananas or something. I don't know. And Matt's going, all I got to do is rest, and I go like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So I finally just rest, and my brain becomes.
I didn't know what that was either, Gray. I had to ask a couple of times. It looked like the pun not intended, the grey kind of bar, like swimming kind of watery thing. Yeah, you literally have to lie. And the good thing is, you don't just lie down for a kip. Like normally in a survival game, you lie down and time goes by really quickly, or you lie down and get back up and you're good. No, you actually, if it's pretty far along, have to lie down for a while, which I like. But then I don't know any other game that's done this. Like normally you have to, so for Enshrouded, for example, right? Enshrouded, that game, if you don't rest, you get up to maximum of like 20, 25 minutes or something, right? Where you regenerate quicker and you're sharper, better, faster. And if you don't sort that out and rest before it gets to 0, your regen's slower, the amount of stuff you can get from a food is not as much, etc., etc. And that's what a lot of survival games do. Or a game like Rust or something, it doesn't have that in it. You just drink and eat, and you can get little teas and stuff as well. But this game here is closer to real life in that respect. You could keep going on without sleep, but you're going to get worse and worse and worse, and to the point where you collapse. And that's probably what happens. So you've got a health bar here, and then like the knackered meter, as I call it, the sleepy meter comes in and moves in like that.
It takes over your health.
And then you've only got like less and less of a health bar left. So if you get damaged with like half or less of this health bar, you're up a certain creek with a paddle. But yeah, so I like it so far.
It's a different kind of mechanic, which I hadn't seen before. And I like it too. So no matter what you eat, I mean, I realized it right, like you're saying, Trev. I sat there giving myself the stim shots to restore my health, but the gray bar was so big that it didn't do it. And I'm sitting there going like, why? I know. And then I realized, oh, dummy, you got to rest. And I go, oh, okay. So that was cool. I liked some of those different things. I haven't seen some of the stuff in other survival games. I mean, there's a learning curve to some of the stuff in the game, but it's not that difficult. And I think they're going to probably straighten out a couple things here and there.
Are you sure about that, Gray? How long were you asking? I mean, I don't blame you because it was new to this. You were asking both of us, especially Matt, like, how to do this, how to do that, where's this, where's that. Matt was keeping it cool. Like, he was, what that guy deserves. What's the highest honour in the UK? The Victorian Cross or something?
I was drunk.
You need that, but he was doing a good job. And I get it. Like, Gray's not used to these kind of games, but I don't know. I struggled with some things, Gray. I struggled with some things as well in that game.
I had Matt the Mentor. I like that. Matt the Mentor.
That's it. Yeah.
Matt the Dementor. It's a good.
Dementor. I think Dementor, a lot of people would say. Yeah.
Well, there was a point. This was funny. The three of us were playing the game. Matt had to take a phone call, so he was gone for quite a while. And I know, Trev, you had to learn something. I don't know what it was or whatever. We had to ask Matt something, and it was like, oh, so we gotta wait for Matt. And like, he's not coming. He's like, half hour goes by. He's still not there. We're going like, oh, the hell with it. We'll just look at YouTube and figure it out.
Sometimes it's quicker. In all seriousness, like, you got to eat. I will try my best, but I don't like looking for guides and stuff immediately. Unlike
I don't either.
Yeah, it's only if I really get stuck, then I do.
I wait till I get to the frustration level. If I'm approaching frustration level, then I'll look something up. But otherwise, I'll.
Can I ask Matt? What? So you're obviously way ahead of us, right? What level you?
Oh yeah, miles ahead.
What cool things have you unlocked? Like, what can you tell us about it at this stage that you like? Will you keep playing at that kind of thing?
Yeah, I can't even remember. What was I? Yesterday I was 29, wasn't I? I think I've
something like that. Sounds right.
Gained a couple of extra. Yeah. So I think I'm 31 at the moment now. Wow. Yeah. I pretty much I had about 65 points for unlocking things on the tech tree.
You get what's it points? Oh man.
60.
No, how many bags
the
thing for the mimetic.
Yeah, the mnemonics. Memetics.
See, the
That's
unlocking
it, yeah.
thing's a pain in the arse, like the amount of things you need to jump
Ciphers.
through.
Ciphers. That's it.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I like what they're doing with it. I think they've changed a bit and they've added extra stuff as well. They did a lot of fixes and what's it up? Was a lot of fixes today. It was, yeah. So better optimizations as well through a lot of parts, which looks really nice. Yeah. So as my skills, what else? Yeah, I've just been doing side missions, gaining extra. Was it loot? Because I need some special loot to start building things.
Why side
I found a place to fish.
Have you completed the game in terms of main story so far for this?
Yeah, I've completed
Have
it.
you?
No.
I was going to say.
We ought to know by now, Matt.
Explain. We said before, it's not seasons; it's scenarios, and they will change
scenarios,
a lot depending on what the community wants. But you will keep your blueprints, so I'm not completely pissed off about that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you missed last week's show, go back and people that are listening now, go back and listen to it. But basically, the scenarios, which they'd like to call it, this first one's going to end August 20th. But luckily, they let you keep blueprints, half your resources, several other things. But they do start your level back down at 1 again. And but with the blueprint, you can just plop your house down in 1 click, and then continue. So it's not a total wipe. The only thing I would like to see, maybe there's plans for it, although they haven't said it yet, is the chance if you want to have your own server, because between 3 of us or maybe even more people, it's not that expensive. You split it up, and we'd have a little more leeway of things we want to do.
Who was it tried to get into play with us again?
Glutzy.
And Yoda as well.
He couldn't. It was the server's too rammed, and normally you can get in when it says it's rammed, but I think it might have looked at him and went, right, you're in North America. There's already 2 geezers here from the EU that are in it. No, but you're already in it from the start with us. So you see, once you're in it, you're guaranteed a place unless it's literally jam-packed and there's no space. You've already been in there, so that's why you're allowed in again. Mm-hmm. But he's right. Because see, right now, I'm trying to tell someone what server I'm on, and I may as well give them bloody GPS coordinates. It's really not user-friendly. I would rather create my own name than saying EU 164.965. And then when you get in there, as we said in last week's show, you can't bloody find one another. Like, Gray was standing in the exact same spot as I was. I could smell him, but I couldn't hear him. I couldn't see him. Nothing. He's standing right there. What happened? Oh, we need to go to this tower thing and all join the same world. And I'm like, a server is a world. A world is a server, guys. Like, what are you thinking, devs? Like, if I jump in that server, and then once you all join in this tower and you connect to the same world within the server, because there's many worlds in a server, it's confusing, then you're not part of the same team automatically. Each and every time, somebody has to go around like Matt and go, do you want to be friends? And then if he wants to bugger off and go and watch beach volleyball in the game and take forever to get to you, you can't join, you can't do one of the raids until he turns up. So listen, I've said many good things about this game. It is free. Free to play is an excuse to do whatever the hell you want. So there are problems. Are they game breaking? Will they stop me playing it? No, because there's a lot more good to the bad. Mm-hmm. But they need to fix that shit. They really need to fix that.
Yeah, they do got to fix that.
Yeah, server-wide,
really crazy. That's probably, I'm glad you brought it up. That's probably the worst part of the whole game. We don't want to turn people off to the game. It's worth playing. Don't misunderstand us. But that one part is annoying because it probably took us, about 30 to 45 minutes before we finally were able to get together. There's no way it should take that long. It should take maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. And you have 45 minutes, and finally we were on the team. We just blew off a whole stuff of doing nothing.
Whereas we would have got our own server if we could have. Normally I'm a fan of trying the actual servers in the game to see how we got on. But for the problems I just alluded to there, I don't recommend that because we couldn't get everyone together. Poor Glutzy is left out. I think everyone else could get in, but anyone else who wants to join us would probably struggle because that server is probably rammed. And it is always.
Yeah. And you have to restart from the beginning as well if you do join in.
I've got,
do the tutorial again.
Right.
I've got one other gripe that's as well as that one. That's a good point. Yeah, if you do you need to do the tutorial each time, which is frustrating. I've got another gripe. normally you play a game in Steam. Steam's great for the most part, right? You get updates and stuff on a regular basis, right? And that's the same with Once Human. You'll get an update, download it, it patches, boom, right? That is misleading because often, Matt knows where I'm going with this, you jump in the game, you've got a 2 gig patch downloading in the game. I'm like, what? I just downloaded
Didn't we just
something
do that?
there. Like,
Yeah.
Does Steam allow this? Like, because that's really cheeky.
Apparently.
But then they could have in-game purchases and stuff that's bypassing Steam. So if they allow it, it's cheeky.
I think they do because,
It's frustrating, Matt, because it's misleading. Like, if you've got a 2 gig patch or a download file to then patch, just stick it into Steam at the start so everyone knows how long they've got. Because see, maybe you've only got half an hour to play a bit of the game and you've got shit internet like me. You're sitting in for another 10 minutes downloading something and let it patch, you know?
Yeah, I didn't understand that because when I went on, I swore when I was in Steam, it downloaded whatever it downloaded. So I thought that was the end of that. And then as soon as you go into the game, it goes, oh, patching. And like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and then you have to close it, restart it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does that quite often.
And then it doesn't tell you sometimes. Like the patch went in, and then all of a sudden I'm out of the game, and I'm going like, the first thing you think of is, what did I do wrong? I've been blown out the game. No, it's because when the patch went in, it automatically kicked you out of the game. So you have to enter it back in again. But they don't tell you this stuff. So it's kind of like, they got that. All this is server related garbage that they need to kind of work on. I'm glad that they're patching and they're doing other good things. I get it. But I don't think they're putting enough of the emphasis on the servers right now, which would be. Katrin just said, there's a 7.3 gigabyte update now.
Yeah.
And what is frustrating, it takes too long, and I have 200 megabit speed, but the game downloads with 10 meg. What? She has 200 megabits, but it's downloading at 10.
Yeah, it's limited.
2 hours. What? No, that's crazy.
There you go. There's another problem there. Right. I'll explain this one a bit more, Craig, not just for folk in general. So there's another reason to do it via Steam, because if you're the dev and you send the update files to Steam servers, at Steam, I've got servers that will piss all over it, the competition, and rightly so. And they've got servers in every main location so that you're not having to wait too long. You can download fast, right? They are screwing themselves over 2-3 times, and I don't know why. You're then downloading the update that's mandatory, say, via Steam, and then going in and getting a big update like this. And then the reason they're only hitting 10 meg is because their servers are made out of bloody chocolate teapots and they're crap. So, just give it to Steam and let them handle it. What?
Yeah,
that's going to take forever. There's no update.
Again, now that Katrin said that, see, all the problems and the headaches we have with the game are server related. Everything.
Yeah.
So they really and I maybe what they're doing is they're thinking like, well, what's more important, the server related or putting game stuff in for people to enjoy? It obviously they're leaning towards the game stuff.
Well, we'll give them
actually,
time.
Katrin, if you're listening, I guess I know you are. When did the update go in yet? And if it did it solve any of the server issues, or you don't know that right now? Just curious, because that's a big update. So I would hope with an update that big, maybe they fix some of these problems with the servers, or at least made it better.
Katrin, why are you not playing with us? And if it's for the reason I think it is, then that's fine. I'm not going to get you to pick servers. Choose. That's not fair. But if it's not for that reason, then why are you not playing with us? I mean, look at these look at these beautiful faces. I know it's enough.
We do.
Maybe him.
You can have the best of both.
Maybe not him.
Hey, look, kudos to Katrin, because when we were playing, I'm halfway still downloading. Okay.
What that massive update or the game?
No, the update. No, but remember when we were playing and Katrin was in the chat and she told us a couple of things that helped us out, which was cool. Yeah, so she actually was very helpful to us.
That lady knows her stuff, man. She does. She knows the ways of the games.
Yep.
So I'll keep playing it, Gray. But they need to fix this. They need to see if they keep going on for months without sorting the server stuff. That will put me off.
Yeah, what would be another thing is if they actually use that. They need a lot more beach volleyball.
Dead or Alive, the best volleyball game that ever came out.
Well,
reverse volleyball was good. Yeah, or if they had just added the Steam join game. And just take out the whole server thing. Just click on that button, get you in there.
Yeah,
save a lot of time, a lot of hassle. instead of all this
Just
finicky nonsense.
give us a chance to get our own server.
Get us in there,
and we won't argue anymore. You know, we'll go to Ping Perfect or whatever, get our own server, and you will never hear us say anything again.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
Oh, well, Matt, I hope you cancelled the Conan server, mate. I appreciate your efforts. I don't think I'd go back to that, man.
No, it's still up and running. It's got 10 people on there.
I mean, I would say don't. You got a month free. I wouldn't pay personally myself much more than past that, unless you're going to go back and play it. I got annoyed about some pernickety things in it to do with if you unlock this. You've unlocked it, but then you need to go and find 10 other things to make up that thing you just unlocked. And you need to unlock, and it gets into unlocking Inception, and it gets so no.
Unlocking Inception.
Anyway, we've actually been talking.
All right, well, let's move along to the next thing. We're going to get into a little gaming tech. There's a program out there called Lossless Scaling. It's not new. It was actually introduced in 2018, I believe. But what is new is that they've been working on it for all this time, and the latest version seems to be working quite well. But anyway, many people out there that have used it are calling it a game changer, literally. Essentially, what it does is it works really well with older games, but new games too. It works better with at least a minimum of 120 hertz on your monitor. It says that it works even better at 240 hertz or above, which luckily I have 240 hertz. Essentially, though, what it is their claim, and it works, is that they will double your frames per second or triple by using the software. There's not a lot to worry about as far as installing it. What they did say was that if you're playing full, not windowed version, but full screen, and it doesn't work, they say to go to the window mode. But they're working on solving that. But that was one thing that they said, because people were complaining when they went the full, it wasn't even working. I watched a couple of videos, especially on the new version that's out now. And this guy had all the stats on the left-hand side as he was playing, I think about 10 or 15 different games. And what was pretty cool is just with a basic drop-down menu, you can choose to do either double frames or triple frames. So what he did was he played old games, he played some somewhat newer games, and then newer games. And I was actually astounded on how well it looked. The old games that you can only maybe get 30 frames a second if you're lucky out of it. Mm-hmm. When he doubled up and it went to 60 or 90, the old games looked really good. They looked smoother than I've ever seen them. Yes, I know. I see you, Trev.
Absolutely nothing. I found that amusing.
You have video, you'll see.
That was funny.
It was. In any case, so basically, with this, stop playing sounds. We're playing sounds, but nobody can hear that. There.
No, sorry, none of you guys can hear those silly noises. Trust me.
Yes, they're trying to drive me crazy. But anyway, so on the older games, all of a sudden everything's really smooth. And then what I was doing, I saw them play like I forget what game it was. Oh, they were playing Cyberpunk, and this guy was only playing on a 4060, no super or nothing, just a 4060 with 8 megs video RAM. Now I have a 4070 Super with 12, but it was interesting to see what he was playing on. So he played Cyberpunk, and he was getting without the software running about 40 frames a second. He couldn't get any better than that. And it's really difficult to play that game on 40 seconds. 40 frames. So he doubled it to 80, and then he doubled it again to 120. And wow, what a difference. It was unbelievable. Now, to back up for a second, there is a bit of a tit for tat kind of thing. There is a little bit of degradation here and there in the graphic quality, but you really have to look closely to see it. It's not something that's that readily available or ready to see with your regular eye. Now, they had latency problems, and literally, as I found out about this, the new version came out, and it seems to have reduced the latency problems. And now they're looking at trying to continue to improve on that to get the latency down as low as possible. But I was very floored on how well it worked, and I've got to try to install it and play some games, because on a 240 hertz monitor, it should be much better, they said. Their rule of thumb is to take the hertz of your monitor, divide by 3, and basically that's the frames you'll get. on the lowest end, and then you can work from there and move it up without a problem. I don't think you guys have tried it yet, but you might have read about it. To add to this now, no sooner did I see this, but apparently yesterday, AMD has now come out with their new version of what they call fluid motion frames 2. Now, apparently they had fluid motions frame 1, but it wasn't that great.
Is that the same as frame generation from NVIDIA?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it won't be as
But
good.
the difference is AMD's version is available to everybody, no matter what
but it's not
graphics
as good. It will never be as good. That's the problem.
I don't know enough about it. I only was looking at what I was reading. And very similar-ish in a technically different way. It will double and or triple your frames as well, and is open to everybody with any card, even in Intel. It works with the Intel GPUs as well. So that's all happening now. So take a look at it if you want to play around with it, people out there, and we will try to play around with it a little bit. I definitely am, to see what it does. But I was very amazed at the videos I saw on these 2 pieces of software and what they could do. It was pretty amazing. I mean, the high frame rates just by clicking a button and basically having it all is really good. And I saw another video where this guy was playing on I think it was a GTX 1660. So now you're talking way back, right? Even before the 3000 series, I think, right? Or right around that, or when the 2000 series is out. And he was using the software, and it made a big difference on his older card. So this could give people that are on a budget a new life, technically, with their older card, being able to boost the frames and enjoying what we enjoy with our better video cards in our machines. So what do you guys think about it?
I'm going to have to give it a try. Because I'm probably just getting like about 90 maybe, just below 100. So it'd be good to get something up and see if it actually does make a big change. I mean, I've got the 4070 Ti overclock, wasn't it? Yeah. So it'd be good to
you don't need it.
See what that would.
You've
got
DLSS 3.7.
Yeah, but that only works with certain games.
You've got frame generation. So this is a good point, because out of the 3 versions, in fact, there's more than that. There's so many. There's NVIDIA's taking it. There's AMD's taking it. There is this lossless scaling by whoever makes that. And then there's Intel's version, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's not as great. And then you've got the PlayStation version coming out soon for the rumored PS5 Pro, which is going to be really, it's their own version. Out of all of them so far, the NVIDIA one is the best one. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm an NVIDIA fanboy. It is the best, but then you're paying for that by getting a 4000 series card.
Yeah.
You can't use them together, but then I don't know if that would play well. Now, the reason I know this is because I watch that Digital Foundry channel a lot. It's fascinating. It's very geeky and breaks it down. And they'll compare them all, and they'll break them down, and they'll do stills and stuff, and they'll go, right, okay, AMD's one's good because it's free and it gives you pretty decent results. But then it'll pan to the NVIDIA one and go, right, okay, you can see it's doing the same thing, but the image is much cleaner. Now, the thing is, a lot of the time, depending on the game, the peepers, and how big a screen, how crap a screen you're playing on, sometimes it doesn't make any difference. I don't notice these things, but I like to know in my head it's the best. Now, I've heard of this lossless scaling for quite a while, Gray, and it's an application that you buy off of Steam. I don't think it's really much at all. A few dollars, a few pounds, whatever, but it's very good.
$7 on Steam. That's what I bought it.
That's reasonable. It's very reasonable. For me, I don't see the point in it because I have got the NVIDIA DLSS. However, Matt makes a good point. For some older games, for some older stuff, it's useful. That's when it's most useful. If it's a game that doesn't have anything in it at all, AMD works best with AMD stuff, but this lossless scaling will go across the board. This I heard about this is a few years old, this application at least. And when I heard of it back in the day, it wasn't as good as you've just said it is just now. And what it'll do is work really well with your older games. I'm talking about not in the last few years, I'm talking about a good number of years back, your retro games even, you want to upscale them to 2, 3, 4 times the resolution, it will do well with older games like that, and because you don't pay for anything. So I'll probably buy it, Gray, for that reason. I think it's handy as hell. I think what AMD's doing with their version is great because it's free. But the thing is, if you use the main versions and take away this lossless scaling, like AMD, Intel, in fact, let's get rid of the Intel one, it's just crap. The AMD one and the Intel and the NVIDIA one, for me, the NVIDIA one works best, hands down. And usually in a game, you'll get a choice between them. You don't get many games that will just give you AMD's version, for example, or just Intel's version. And if you find those examples, it's more likely you will get an NVIDIA version only, but you usually get to choose between them. And I'll always pick DLSS because it's just the best. But then AMD's one's probably the best for bang for buck because you don't pay for it. So
yeah,
fair's fair.
I think the reason why the other thing I like about the lossless scaling, at least from what I've read and stuff, is that number one, you don't have to have a 4000 series NVIDIA card to run it. You can run it on any video card. Doesn't matter what it is. Resource-wise, it doesn't take up a lot of resources, as DLSS will. It's not a terrible thing, but
that's why
DLSS is designed to work with your 4000 series card, and you don't really notice it. And I use the DLS frame generation; it's great. Not going to.
Great, you lose nothing on your NVIDIA card. Sorry to jump in. It's got specific chips built just for that functionality.
No, I agree.
You will not lose any rasterization functionality or quality.
Look, if I had known that lossless scaling was going to be this great, I could have kept the card I had before and been way ahead of the game more than I was. So again, like Trevor pointed out, old games, but still new games too, because there's a YouTuber out there. It's called Edward Gaming, and the video that I watched. And you guys can, Google it or go on YouTube. It was RTX 4060 lossless scaling test in 17 games. And they covered a lot of different games from old to new. They went from Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Far Cry 6, GTA, Hitman, Hogwarts, Witcher 3, Uncharted, et cetera, et cetera. And he really did a great job because he had all the stats running on the side. So you could see what it was doing when you used 2 times the frames, what it was doing when it did 3 times the frames. And so you can watch all the games, many of these that we've all played, and really see the comparison as to what it looks like. So I would advise checking out that. And there's a couple other good videos too, but nice stuff. This guy did a lot of the work, which is really good, kind of interesting. But anywho, let's kind of move along, I guess. And what we'll do is we got you up, Trev, with some interesting game news, I guess.
Anyone tried Fallout London yet? No. I'm going to talk about that first. That's a good shout. Is it on my notes? Hang on, because no, it's not. But
we were thinking about it. We haven't played it yet, though. But I'm
glad you reminded me. Right, so it's not as straightforward as you think. What I mean by that was I watched another Digital Foundry video on this. So what you have to do, this is sneaky. I was like, how am I going to play this? You need the game with all the DLC, or you need the Game of the Year edition. I have the game with all the DLC because it was really cheap, and I've got it in Steam. You need it via Steam or GOG, and you're fine. But you download the London Fallout mod from GOG, right? But then I don't know what to do after that. So I watched a video, and the Digital Foundry boys said, what you need to do is you go to GOG, you get the downloads. It then sends you, because the version it's got is out of date with the main version. This is how the guys that make the mod got around this one. They didn't necessarily re-engineer things. They added different files to it. So what it does is it then takes you to Nexus modding, which you know well, Gray. And it then gets you to download something that downgrades your main game. I'm paraphrasing Digital Foundry, guys. I've not tried this out in person. It downgrades your main game. I don't know why I would want to do that, because they polished it a bit more, especially for the consoles when they updated it, not so much for the PC. And then you can jump in and play it. I really don't know if I'm comfortable with that, nor do I know how to actually launch the thing because I've not looked into it. So if someone tries it sometime soon, I don't know when we're going to get time. please tell me how you do it and if it's any good. I just bought it again in GOG. No, Hinks, that's what they want you to do. That's what they want you to do, man. £13 is 2 pints.
Pretty cheap though.
Yeah.
Well, I think like you, there needs to be, and maybe there is, a YouTube video out that'll help you, step by step. I would think there would be. There is a video out when it first came out. I posted in our gaming chat, and this guy played an hour of the game. So I went in to see what he was doing and stuff. Now it doesn't tell you how to install it, but it actually had the gameplay.
Yeah, and
I was like pretty amazed. The gameplay looked really good. And as we've read before, the maps in Fallout London are as large as the maps in Fallout 4 and the DLCs put together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. So these guys spent many years on this thing, but it looked really good from the video I was seeing of the actual gameplay. I was like shocked. And this guy was funny. He every time he would go to something somewhat familiar in London, he would actually put the real picture of the building, like for a second, like in the lower left. So you would see the real picture, what it looks like today, and then you see the Fallout version. It was pretty good. Those guys did a really good job. It looked like an actual, messed up version of the building.
Great.
Yeah.
There's someone famous in that game. Semi-famous anyway.
No,
Matt?
Matt?
Matt,
Matt, yeah.
That's par for the course. I mean, that's par for the course. You've been in being famous.
Yeah.
No.
Paid a ghoul. No.
Do you know who Colin Baker is? Anyone?
Yeah.
Who?
Isn't that
Who is he
Doctor
then?
Who?
Yeah, he's the
The old
Fifth
Doctor
Doctor.
Who?
He's in it, man. The Fifth Doctor's in it.
Really? Cool.
Yes. Now, is it his normal voice, or is it all right, geezer? Is he putting on the Cockney accent? That's what I want to know. Someone tell me. But yeah, Doctor Who's in it, man.
We gotta
That's gonna
find
be
out.
exciting. Yeah.
And there's got to be at least one blue police box. I mean, it's London. There's got to be one.
Yeah.
So his gaff is probably in there somewhere as well.
I got something to do for my 15 days now.
Well, hey, Matt, I've got a long weekend off because it's a bank holiday weekend in the UK. So I'm off Friday, Monday. So I'll be around playing more games, mate. Some
Can
Destiny
you tell
2
my
as well.
bank's over here to do that so I can be off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The answer is I'm always off because I'm retired. There you go.
You can have extra off.
We're saying is actually making a good point. Kudos to Gray. Nice knowledge, the Doctor. Because the thing is, right, I didn't think Gray's not really a Doctor Who fan, but I'm surprised you knew who that was.
Let me tell you my exposure briefly of Doctor Who.
Wrong show.
When I was a lot younger and Colin first started out as Doctor Who, that was when I jumped into Doctor Who out of the blue. And I didn't see every single episode that Colin was in, but I saw a bunch. I mean, again, a long time ago. And I always liked him a lot. I hated the special effects. They drove me crazy because I could have done better. So I didn't like the special effects, but I really liked him and the writing was good and he was excellent. Then when he changed, whoever the doctor was that was next, you guys know I don't. I just thought it was never the same. I just thought, to me, he was one of the best.
Doctor? Can't remember.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
and
which one was Tom Baker?
He was the fourth. Was in no.
Tom Baker. Well, now I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm confused
because I liked him and I liked Baker.
Yeah.
And I can't really say anybody else because I didn't watch enough of it. After that, I lost interest. The only reason why some of my interest has been rekindled a little lately with Doctor Who is because when they started doing the newer ones, the special effects were better.
Yeah, because the Disney Millions. That's why.
No. Yeah, everything I've read about the Disney one has been garbage.
It's awful.
I don't even.
God awful. But anyway, that's not.
No, I'm not gonna watch it because too many people have said how bad it is. But the point I was trying to make is even before Disney though, they started upping the budget. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, to get the effects at least to look, much better.
I
had a hard time. What was it? The Daleks that looked like an upside down trash can with arms.
They'll force him out. Don't worry. He says anyway. Let's never mind the Doctor. I love Doctor Who, but it's not the format for it. Hopefully at some point we get a chance to try it. But then I haven't even completed Fallout 4, far from it. So
yeah, me too.
Matt, it'll probably going to be Matt that tries it. If anyone here, any of our regular guys.
Well, hold on, because Hink said. He said, I mean, the mod was free, so it felt worth it. It's the best total conversion mod I've ever played. So he's playing it.
Yeah, but...
I suppose it makes it easier, doesn't it?
Hink's probably bought it elsewhere. Hink's probably has it on Steam. That's my point. It's not what you paid for it, Hinks. That is cheap. But you paid for it a second time, I'm going to presume. And that's the thing. Yes, so there you go. And I listen, they're hoping you do that. I've got it on Steam. I will make it work somehow because they did say via Steam or GOG it will work. I don't know how they talk to each other, but they do. So I'll figure it out. Anyway, right.
The thing that's weird, but wait a minute. The thing that's weird about that though is if you're buying it again, who benefits? Not the mod makers because they don't get any money.
No, they don't. No. Bethesda do, or Microsoft. Sorry.
Yeah,
Microsoft. Yeah.
So, but the Bethesda's.
I said they. I didn't say who. I said they.
Yeah.
They should be giving these guys a couple of bucks just for the heck of it.
To be fair, mate, no one made them make the mods.
No, I agree.
They were allowed to legally do it. They're not allowed to make money off it, I don't believe, anyway. Although what's really sneaky is they put a Patreon up for it, which I don't begrudge.
Patreon,
but the problem is that you need to then, by doing the Patreon, that you have to technically, I think, give some money to them. And I think Bethesda are a bit miffed at that, so we'll see. Hey, I appreciate what they're doing, but you're not allowed to make money off it. It's kind of part of the agreement with mods.
Yeah, but in a perfect world though, you can still donate. So it would go a long way with people out there if Bethesda just said we would just like to donate, a few $1,000s or something to all the hard work they put in and all the money we made off of it.
Some people get jobs out of it.
Yeah.
Some people get jobs out of it, and hopefully they go on and work for Bethesda and they can get rid of the janky crap that they make. But let me rephrase that. Janky crap as in the jankiness is crap. Not that their games are crap. They make good games. They just come out always janky. It's like a thing with them. Anyway, right.
Like Starfield?
Like Starfield, yes. Missing most of the fundamental features you expect. So Trev bought something. I'm going to put it up on screen here. All right, you ready?
He bought something now?
Oh, put it away. Oh, there you go.
Look at that, boys. Look at that. What do you think of that?
He's putting it up on Twitch.
Yeah, you have to watch the Twitch, mate. You have to watch the Twitch,
All right, so for people that are listening and not on Twitch.
I'll explain it. Don't worry. So that I did not pay that price. I got it half that price. I've always wanted something like this, but it was always out of my my buying power because of the price and the size of it. So for people listening, this is an arcade machine essentially, and it's by the guys called Arcade 1UP. Right, you probably heard of them. They do tabletop ones. They do full size one. That's about 3/4 lengths. I need to get a little bar stool. I saw that going on a sale recently, and I thought I'll have to get it. Game, who Matt will know in the UK, game.co.uk. They were selling it really cheap, and it comes tomorrow. And it's got 14 games in it. It comes flat patch. You need to build it up, and it's an Atari machine. So you've got games in there like Asteroids, Centipede, just to name a couple. Yeah, it's got Wi-Fi built. Yeah, the classics. It's got Wi-Fi built into it so that you can do the whole achievement thing and whatnot. Although the screen's supposed to be a bit poor, as in the black's not very black. So there's a hack online that some boy bought a 15-inch Dell monitor of that kind of aspect ratio and literally switched it out. So I'm going to do that, I think. And once I get up and running, which won't be anytime soon, I'm in the process of trying to move house or flat. I'll keep it flat packed for the new guy. I've set it up and maybe I can show some of it on the stream or whatnot. And we can have some fun. Yeah. But what do you boys make of that? Hey, that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
And look at the coins. Look, you don't put coins.
The only thing I'm surprised at is only 14.
That's it. Charge your mates when they come around.
Only 14 games, mate. Some of them only have one game. 14 games is brilliant.
No, wait a minute. I saw a console. I don't forget where it was, and it had something like 200 games in it with the same kind of setup as that.
Here's all the games, right? Here's all the games. So it's the Atari Legacy Centipede 2023 edition, and it has Centipede, Asteroids. You can get cream for that. Missile Command. It doesn't tell you every single one. Oh, that's some of them. Did it tell you the rest? Anyway, they're the main ones.
It didn't tell me.
And it's got a little it's got a little trackball on it as well. That's what you're making.
Volleyball.
What about what was that game? Tempest.
It's got your trackball, mate. It's got your trackball from your mouse. Oi.
That's right.
What you
Even
saying,
they
Ray?
knew.
What you saying?
Tempest. Do you remember Tempest?
Rings a bell. I don't know if that's in it though.
Tempest was the one where it was like a wireframe game, and the character you played was kind of spider-like, made out of wireframe, and you basically were on top of this thing, and stuff was being shot downwards, and you had to sit there and avoid getting hit, otherwise you get lost into the void or whatever. Man, I played a lot of hours of that. And Asteroids, when it first came out, was also very wireframe. I mean, the asteroids that were coming at you were just a bunch of wireframe things stuck together to look like an asteroid. And then I think they came out with the color version and they upgraded the graphics afterwards. I'm talking all console games when I was playing. But I put many a quarter in on Asteroids and Tempest and Centipede and Mario and Pac-Man. And oh my God, I would come with a roll of quarters, 2 or 3 rolls of quarters. Each one's $10. My mom's going like, what are you doing with my money?
That's
like, oh, you remember when we used to play pinball back then? You used to stack quarters on the glass.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to let everybody know that you're going to be there a while and to get lost. And people would just stare, and if they saw a stack, they'd just walk on.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Or what would even better, if your stack went down to 1 quarter and you took the last quarter to put in, somebody immediately throws a stack of 4 or 5 quarters on the machine. When you're done, you're out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. Those were the
good
days.
Times. Good times and good memories. I'm aware of the time, so I'll try and fire through. I would have normally shown this, but there's a new Enshrouded update out, so what I could have done is thrown that on another screen, and then the people that listen to the audio podcast can still hear the audio from the video. But it's not. Gray may have a different opinion, I hope he does. For me, it's not as impressive as other ones, and that's not a bad thing on the guys that they're making Shrouded. This seems to be, what is the actual number of the update anyway? It's not 1.0, but this is one of their third major update, and it's mostly quality of life stuff. Mostly quality of life, which isn't a bad thing. Include the most important stuff, improve it, move on from there. They have added a couple of small areas at the end, I believe, which is absolutely fine. But they've mostly just tried to improve it, change difficulty setting, bring out other difficulty settings for you. And I'm wanting Gray's opinion on this, because you watched the trailer. What did you make of it? Were you happy because it's free content, or are you like, they could have done more?
I mean, I was happy with it only because I like when they give you the ability to tweak the game the way you may want to tweak it. Now, you could say that is the realm of a cheat mod, and I suppose some cheat mods it would be. But basically what I was seeing there was that you could do a lot of things with sliders and be able to like change the perhaps the damage levels of what you do, or the damage levels of what the enemy might do. But the thing I liked about that is when you involve a cheat mod, it's all or nothing usually with a cheat mod. So it's kind of like, all right, the damage that you're going to take is going to be like 50% less, or you're invincible in your God mode and all that stuff. You can't do it by 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. But with these game of life changes, and I've only seen this done like once in a game years ago. I can't even think of what it was. So technically, let's just say that you think the enemies, at least for you, not for everybody, are a little more difficult to beat. So what you do is, instead of them having 100%, you can drop it to 99, 98, 97, and then go back and play it until you get to a level where you are enjoying the game. But you can't really do that sometimes with a lot of cheat codes. It's just God mode or nothing. Now there was a bunch of other stuff too, and I can't even remember all the sliders and things that you had to fix things. Now they also did the normal stuff, keeping things up graphically and solving other little bugs and latency issues and blah blah blah. They said that they added several different things to the existing map. They didn't expand the map. Prior update. Right. The prior update did expand the map, only a little, but it brought us into the Mires, which is a whole new section. But this was actually adding things. Like last time they added dungeons to the main map. This time they're supposed to be adding a couple more things to the main map. But their roadmap is rather large, so they'll be doing updates probably for the next couple of years at least, or more. We're still waiting for water. They already promised that the water is going to come in, and there would be biomes with water. So that should be kind of cool. So I like the game, the quality of life updates. It just tells me that they're on top of it and they're prepared to do, whatever they're going to do. I'm hoping that they're going to come up with a major new update, bigger than maybe the Myers, where they really just kind of open up a large part of the map or something. But we'll see. Well, I'll take it for what it is. I mean, they're not charging anything, and they're just adding on as they go along.
They can't. Can you charge for a game and it's not even 1.0 yet? I mean, technically they could, but that doesn't happen often. No, the other.
Well, look, we know developers that'll sit there and charge for every stupid little thing. At least these guys aren't doing that, so that's good.
Some of the highlights in this game. So it's mostly quality of life, like we said. Difficulty and gameplay setting adjustments, so you can make it really hard. And if you've got your own server, you can increase or take away a lot of this kind of difficulty, bosses, enemies, that kind of thing. So you can make it really easy for you, Gray. Collectible props. You could dress up if you want, Gray.
Oh, okay.
If that's your cup of tea. New character customization options. That's fine. Some people love that stuff. It's not quite Rust and whatnot, but quality of life balancing. So that'll be like server based stuff. That'll be behind the scenes, that kind of stuff. And other bits and bobs, like some general combat changes that people are asking for, gameplay balancing, that kind of thing. I don't have a problem with that at all, really. Go and check the change log, because there's a lot of stuff in there. But I think I'm trying to think if there's anything in localization. No, really. And I don't have a problem with that. I probably won't go back in and check it into bring out more content. Bear in mind, there's still over half the map to go.
Does it say what you were looking at, what these couple of new things that they threw on the map are? I mean, the way they made it sound, it was actual something to do, maybe another boss or some whatever. Kind of like how they added the
Yes. I found this in the video. Added 2 new caves to the Black Mire region. Added 3 new temples to the Black Mire region. Black Mire's getting a bit of love here. 2 additional enemy tree camps. 5 new temples to Kindle Wastes. So that is content. That's new stuff, but it's not the same kind of new content that we got last time, which is fine. I'm not going to complain about that. What they do though, Enshrouded, is they give you a video and they guide you through it, and at the end, the stuff they don't have time to talk about, that's how much extra stuff they give you. They put it in kind of little screenshots, so you need to pause the video. I've got it paused just now so that you can actually read some of the things that they've got. And it's out now, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think it is. It's pretty good. I would check it out if you're a big fan of Enshrouded, because nothing to lose. The other thing was more content for Starfield. How do we feel about that, boys?
New content for Starfield. Well,
it might get me back into it. I mean, I didn't mind it as a game itself. I think I just got bored of it because it was kind of repetitive. But it'll be interesting to see what their DLC. If it's too pricey, then you can keep it.
I mean, supposedly from what I understand is that the new DLC is going to start putting in the stuff that should have been there from the beginning, meaning that I believe vehicles are coming in, and you'll be able to travel more like you're supposed to travel from between planets. Again, all stuff that should have already been there. Is the DLC free or is it paid? You have to pay for it.
No, they're paid. Remember. That's the thing. It's I don't know if I agree or disagree with it.
I disagree, and the reason I disagree is because that's the kind of stuff that should have been in there from the beginning. And in order to make good faith with the people, they should have either made it really cheap or actually free. Well, I mean, look, the game to me, I'm not going to say it's unplayable, but the game to me is far more fun when you load the mods in, because the mods make up for everything that Bethesda's done wrong. And one of the major things that Bethesda did with that game that I was shocked at was that when I first started playing it, the graphics and the engine that they use is 10 years old. It doesn't look any different than Mass Effect Andromeda, if you remember that nightmare.
But that's upgraded and shiny for them. That's what cracks me up about that. Yeah,
I know, but that's unbelievable. I'm sitting there going like, dude, we saw all this back 10 years ago. And some of the similar problems with the NPCs were the same crap that happened 10 years ago. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And you have to trust the people out there that are very talented in making mods to do what Bethesda wouldn't do. And I swear, I wrote one time in our gaming chat a while back, I'm firmly convinced that that's Bethesda's new game model now. They're going to sit there and build a game for whatever money because they know that the people are going to come out and do mods for it and do all their work for them for free.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's happened.
I think people just love Bethesda games in general. They put up with the jank. There's so many games out in competition that I kind of don't. I wait until they fix things. This DLC that's coming out, so we're already waiting on one, which is Shattered Space. That'll be released later this year. But they're working on the next one called Starborn. And the rumours, it's not concrete confirmed. It's heavy rumours for the second expansion for this game. And the thing is, there's very little on it because we don't even have Shattered Space at the moment. But people that were leaking information were saying it'll be akin to Fallout 4 again, Far Harbor expansion, which was like, if you know Fallout 4 in any kind of detail, it's got a bunch of DLC. Only 2 parts of it are worth playing. The rest is crap. And that's Nuka-Cola World and Far Harbor. Far Harbor is like a big chunk of the game, actually. It was really, really good. So people are saying it's going to be kind of like that. It's difficult for me, man, because we are getting a game for free. No one's making us buy the DLC. It's additional content. But again, going back to what we said before, if they'd released the game polished 1.0, like, come on, I know it's Bethesda and their jank, but you're not early access, you're better than that. Like, stop releasing games without things like an FOV slider for PC, like DLSS. I'm playing it like lucky if I'm getting 60 frames a second. How's the cheese wheel, Gray?
Good.
He loves his cheese wheels. He's going to turn into a big... See, one of these days we're going to come here and
Wallace and Gromit.
There'll just be a big cheese wheel or a big wedge of like Edam sitting on his chair or something.
Yeah. I can talk like Mickey Mouse, so it kind of works.
Oh, please don't, please God, no, please God, no. Yeah, so
I want to say one thing that you just brought to mind when you were talking about. You said Bethesda. We already know it's going to be jank. I was looking at some stuff online to people talking in some of the columns or Reddits and whatnot, and the attitude out there with most people when it comes to Bethesda is that they always release jank games and they expect to have jank games and the modders expect to be fixing it. I mean, really? You're talking about like a major company and the entire mood is out there is that we already know it's going to be jank. Well, we already know it's going to be old. We already know it's going to be messed up. Like,
get guys to fix it for free.
Microsoft might sort that, and I think you'll see an influence because we know they take forever to get games out as well. So we wanted Fallout 5, and that was on their agenda, but they had to complete the new Elder Scrolls. Was it Elder Scrolls 6? They had to get that out, and that's nowhere near been ready. So you probably wouldn't see it until the 2030s sometime, and I'm not exaggerating. So, but Microsoft,
no, not either. I was exaggerating originally, but not anymore.
Microsoft stepped in and go, right, okay, we're going to put it to another studio because Fallout. And I haven't played these. It's just what I know and doing my research, watching videos, reading reviews. Fallout 3 New Vegas, or is that considered one of the 3 games, like a spin-off? Fallout New Vegas is not I can't remember who makes it, but it's not Bethesda, and it's one of the best games in the series. Everyone says it. So I want to make one correction that I said before. Sorry, the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield coming out later this year is going to be similar to Fallout 4's Far Harbor. We know very little about the new rumored DLC Starborn, but that'll probably be next year sometime. And listen, it's on Game Pass. I'll get around to it at some point. I'm conscious we've got quite a lot of game news, so I'm trying to fire through it. Gray.
We got time, don't worry.
Game voice actors go on strike.
Yeah.
So,
I heard that.
and this links into the second article after this as well. So the SAG-AFTRA guys, the guys that went on strike last year over, and rightly so,
Writers, directors,
mostly writers, actors from TV and film, they went on strike for fairer everything, basically, and they mostly got what they wanted in the end. But there's one important category here that we can't forget, and that's the people that do voice acting for games. Now, they're on strike now as we speak, so that won't affect us immediately. It's a bit like TV. In fact, we'll probably see even later down the line because games take so long to make. We will see knock-on effect from voice acting, although I know people might be thinking GTA 6 is safe. They have already got that stuff in the can, thankfully. But I guess I don't blame them, guys. I think they're a bit like writers. They get used and abused, they get crap money, and they will probably be, the piss will be ripped out of them when it comes to AI and that kind of stuff. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think, first of all, by the way, if anybody that's heard this think that they just decided to go on strike, no, because they had said that many months ago that this was something that, you know, they wanted to get settled, but they let them know clearly that if it wasn't settled in a certain amount of time, they will go on strike.
Yeah.
So basically, they've been dealing with them for months, and apparently it ain't happening, and now they were forced to go on strike. And I don't blame them because, like we had said, I mean, game voice actors, generally speaking, don't get nearly as much as, you know, the regular mainstream actors. And so they deserve what they should get or what proper residuals, etc. The problem now that they're on strike, like you were saying, it may not affect us right now, but for games that are in the middle of production, all that stops now because they've already started with these actors in the voice. What are they going to do? Go change to someone else all of a sudden?
But you can do other work on the side. That's the thing with games. You can come back to that. You can still keep making a game and put in voice.
No, I agree. But the problem is some of the games that maybe we wanted to see and we expected to come out in whatever 2025. Well, guess what? Now it might be late 2025 or pushed into 2026. Yeah. It's going to make it, the longer the strike goes on, the more these games are going to get pushed down. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a glut in the market like we got once before when they started all the layoffs. And now the glut, it's coming. If this strike goes on for the next, let's say, month or 30 more days or whatever, if they don't solve it, we are going to get that glut, and there'll be no quality games coming out. We'll all be shifting to indies again. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying we'll be shifting to indies, and you're going to see the AAA or the Quad A or the 5A games because they won't be able to finish them. I want to hold off the AI discussion for a second because we're going to talk about that, in a minute. But that's another whole can of worms. But anyway, go ahead, Trev. You had some other news too.
No, Matt, do you have any thoughts on that as well? Or are you the same as us?
I do, yeah. I think with these actors, they actually add so much to the games itself. It gives it the feelings.
Well,
it gives it a lot of grit.
We said that after Prodigy. Remember, we all like Starfield and Prodigy, and the voice acting was sensational. It's the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even going back before that, I mean, the really good Disney animated movies and so forth. If you don't get the feeling out of an actor that knows what they're doing,
exactly,
what good is it?
I think you might as well just have a teleprompter, just go blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's just going to ruin everything, pretty much. So I hope they actually.
But
somewhere with them.
They were in negotiations in October 2022. So they have been at it a while trying to fix it, to be fair. So no one can complain that they didn't give them every opportunity. No one wants to strike usually. So fair play. I hope they get what they want.
Some people may disagree, but there's a bunch of people out there that swear that voice acting is actually more difficult than regular acting. Because you have to be able to convey the emotion without anybody really seeing you. Yes.
Yeah, you can't see anything, can you? Yeah.
Right. The animators do a good job, and they have to do a good job. They don't do a good job. You're relying all on the voice. But so I kind of, if you've ever seen clips of people doing voice acting and they're using their hands like this and they're using their head and they're moving it around because they need to get into the character or they can't. They can't do it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, what I'm always amazed about sometimes is I'll hear the voice and I'll go like, I swear I heard that voice somewhere before. And then you'll go on YouTube and when you do find videos of the actual little bit of them doing the production work, you go like, wow. And you said, that's the guy. And you're just kind of like amazed at the voice they put out. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
The last thing quickly on my agenda, which you don't want to gloss over too quickly because it's disrespectful, but it's kind of similar to the last thing I talked about. Bungie, guys that make Destiny and are working on that new game Marathon and whatnot, and used to work on Halo back in the day, they are going to lay off over 200 staff. They're going to be forming a new studio within PlayStation. Now, the whole thing with this before was their last DLC for Destiny last year, Lightfall, bombed. It was not good. And I must admit, I was like, am I playing some, Tron crap ripoff or something? It wasn't didn't feel like Destiny, didn't enjoy it at all, haven't completed it, probably never will. And then this is around about the time that Sony bought them over. But they were allowed to remain autonomous this whole time. Their own board, basically just keep doing your own thing, but you report to Sony and the profits go to Sony, right? Whatever, that's fine. However, Sony said to them, listen, guys, you have to do better with the next DLC. So they delayed it from February to June or something. And I've only played a little bit of it, but I will play a little bit more of it over this weekend. I enjoyed the new DLC, The Final Shape. It's a lot better. I'm enjoying it. And the thing was, Sony went, listen, if you guys don't knock the ball out the park with this DLC, then we are kind of going to come in and dissolve your board and take it over properly, because we can't spend the money we spent on you guys to... These are the guys. Sony got Bungie on board to help them with live service games. They came in and they went to the guys that make The Last of Us. Who is it? Naughty Dog. They went to them and ripped up their multiplayer Last of Us game, Factions, because they didn't think it was good enough. Ironic, their last DLC was shit. We possibly lost out on a great Last of Us multiplayer game now. So what happens with this DLC that came out? It done well. So we're like, yeah, it's fine. People's jobs will be saved, whatever. They can keep being autonomous. No, not the case. These layoffs were partly planned, or regardless of what was going to happen, which is bloody disgusting. I'm so sick of greedy corporations like this. Yeah. And Sony are just as bad as Microsoft, vice versa. But what they say is a bit like what's his name? Phil Spencer from Xbox came out and went, I'm so sad I have to lay off all these jobs. And, oh yeah, you're crying into your $100 notes. Do you get $100 notes? Whatever your highest denomination is.
A lot more than that.
Singular notes. So the same thing's happening here. They were going to get the bullet regardless, but they've limited how many people are going to get the bullet. It could have been more. Now, it is a lot more than 200, actually. That's 17% of their studio. So they have a lot of people working at Bungie.
That's a big percentage.
Yeah, it's a massive percentage. It's 220 to be exact. But there's actually going to be more because they're going to take about 155 of those roles into SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, right? So they're not losing their jobs, but they're not going to be part of Bungie anymore. So I'm trying to minimize the rant here, boys, but I'm disgusted with these companies sometimes. I really am. Like, it's people's jobs gone.
If they really wanted or had to do that, whether we agree or disagree, the better way to handle it is to sit there and tell them all up front in advance. Tell them that they're gonna continue to get paychecks for an extra month or whatever, a month or two after they're let go, so that they have some money coming in. They're not going to be destitute like day one. So they can look for other jobs, and that's the right way to do it. It still stinks that they would have to be let go, but at least you're trying to help them out and keep them going a little longer, just to give them a little extra whatever. But they don't do that. They just sit there and go, all right, you're cut off. Sorry, we tried. Like, really? Did you? I mean, they have enough money to sit there, and I don't, they're going like, well, that'd be a lot of people to give money to. Oh, give me a break. You can afford to give them money for at least a month, or whatever, if not longer. So they'll
give them good redundancy packages, to be fair, but that's just so they can sleep at night.
We
I
think.
guess.
Yeah,
No,
that's it,
they
yeah.
are. They are. That was confirmed.
They should do, yeah.
Before.
Well,
they'll get a good payoffs and whatnot, and because they know still that they'll save money in the long run. So if they give them an extra 2 months' wages or whatever it is, then that's fine. But they
those
have
people
a massive
don't get
studio.
those people don't get residuals. Like actors, at least will get a residual
No, they won't.
if they've
You're
done
right.
work,
But
they get nothing.
I don't know if that's fair or not fair, man, because I don't know how you would work that, if it's practical, how you would do that, unlike voice acting or acting, which is very bespoke and unique and more marketable and more profitable, and making a game. Like, what about the work I do? I don't get residuals from my job, IT support. I fixed something and it's still working. It never broke down. I want a residual. So does Matt.
So that's what we should do. Everybody should demand residuals for everything.
That's it.
That is me with the gaming news from my side, guys. There's quite a lot, and I try my best to go through it, but there's a lot. So
it's good. Yeah,
you did fine.
Fantastic.
Matt.
So, Mr. Matt, you're up next. You want to talk about NZXT PC rental? This is
So, like, I know that PC rentals is not a new thing. It's you get a lot of companies that'll throw out, here's a few PC rentals for this, that, and the other, from gaming, graphics, workstations, all that stuff. But NZXT, have now brought it to the individual. I don't think there's any other company that does it. And it's not like a rent to buy or anything like that, or a hire purchase thing. It's literally just renting. So it's, I think that's pretty good. Even though there's 3 tiers that they're offering, I should say. So they got like the minimum package, and then you got the higher end package for a monthly price. So I think the cases, most of the cases are exactly the same, but the internals are a wee bit different. One's an i5, one's an AMD Ryzen 5, another one's an i7, with a hook on top of that. And it's I think it's going for the cheapest one is like $60, going up to $169 for the US people.
$60 is good. That's not bad.
It's not bad, but then wouldn't you just get something cheaper if you did a rent to buy kind of thing, and then get something that you really want?
Is it only, only the US? It is, isn't it?
No, it's UK and US. Yeah. I mean, you get 24-hour support, which is pretty good, and upgrades as well as they come in, which kind of makes it a bit more feasible in that kind of way. So you get like a different choices of cards as well. So
why has this never happened before? Like, such an obvious idea, and we've not thought of it, ever discussed it, and it's never happened until now without my knowledge. Like, wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I haven't seen it quite like this before.
There's no cancellation fees or anything.
Really?
You get replacements as well for free if anything happens to the old one there. It's month to month, fully refunded if you need to.
What about upgrades
I think
and
it's
stuff? Is it time goes on?
upgrades are included as well.
Does it come with support
nice.
if you need it? Right?
24/7 support.
Really?
Yeah.
If
So
I
that's
pay
pretty awesome.
$60 a month, I probably would. Like, even if it was short term, think about it. You're a student, right? You're a student. You're not loads of money, but you're a gamer, and you've only got a lease in your place for like 9 months over the student year. Or you're just someone that's in between places. You don't quite have enough money to get a new rig. You're going to go on to another rig soon. You just hire one of these bad boys.
I mean, over the course of the year, it's like $720. You're renting it for the whole year.
You wouldn't want to do it for too long though, because it's the same situation as paying for rent. You get a mortgage, you pay someone else's rent. But for short term, it's a great idea, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially if you're not really sure if you're going to be staying on in the gaming world or you're moving around a lot. Then it's pretty good. You can do it or not.
I checked the specs though, Matt. I checked the specs. I think what you're paying for the specs is, it never changed to pounds when I put UK in, so it's still stuck in dollars, but the $60 one is an i5 12400 GTX RTX 3050. It's but then you're going,
it's not the best, but for the
$60 to $120 to $170.
for a 4070 Ti, which I've got.
The middle one's decent. That's a lot better, but it's also double the price. And then you go up to the Billy Big Balls edition. Sorry, right? For $170, which is ridiculous kind of money, it's only an i7 13700 KF.
Yeah.
The KF means does that mean it doesn't have built-in graphics?
Kicking foots.
Like
I have a K, but not a KF.
Boys, that should be an i9 14th gen. I'm sorry,
that would be
it
nice.
should be for that price.
Yeah.
It should be a 4080 minimum for that price. So I'm going to take back what I just said.
Yeah. I was going to say but then if you're looking at what Intel are going through with their problems with their chips at the moment, could they be affecting it?
So, they're rusting on your boards.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And
I can see mine rusting right now. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think there's a law firm that's actually looking at the possibility of filing against. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it'll be quite interesting. Yeah, because I know Intel probably just go,
I'll join that.
A few
bucks. I just got an Intel chip, so mine better not go.
I think the bottom tier one for a short period of time it's $59. Yeah, like sure, whatever, it makes sense. But above that, I would be like, no, I'm sorry, guys. Because the thing is here, right? Yeah. You're saying, Matt, it's got like you'll get upgrades and whatnot, and you'll get customer support. You tend to find, I relate this to, you probably get this in London as well, Pat. You have it probably a lot more so. The guys that deliver food on bikes, right? The Zumo bikes. You ever seen the Zumo bikes? You have a lot of bikes there, but the Zumo ones, right? So we've got a repair centre here for that as well, right? And you get different tiers. You'll pay 40, 50 quid a week, whatever, right? You'll get your bike, you get repairs, but they're not immediate. They'll maybe take a couple of days. But then you'll upgrade to another tier where maybe you'll get a second battery and you'll get immediate repairs the same day and that kind of stuff. If they're trying to make this better, I think that's what they do. Because the bottom tier, for example, unless I see different, maybe you don't get upgrades. For argument's sake, maybe it takes you longer to get repairs, but then you go up the tier, the middle tier, maybe you get upgrades, or you get quicker repairs, but you don't get immediate upgrades and then the top tier, the Billy Big Balls tier, you get everything, but it should be higher specs and that, man. That's a rip-off, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know, because when I looked at the middle tier, over the course of a year, it's $1,428, but if you're building a PC similar-ish to that, or maybe a little better, you're spending like $2,500, $3,000 maybe. So you could basically rent the middle tier for 2 years, and by that time you're going to want to get into a new computer anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they upgrade it every 2 years, apparently. So they say
to the
newer standard. Yeah, the whole thing.
The way they're
probably the whole thing. The whole thing. Yeah.
The way they're showing it, I think the first package is good because it at least gets you into PC gaming. Even if the equipment is not maybe the hottest stuff, it's good enough. The middle package is considerably better. And like we're all saying, if you're going to spend $3 building a computer anyway, well, might as well use one for 2 years and get another one. You know what it sounds real similar to is leasing cars. I don't know about if it's the same over there as in the States. But in the States, you can basically lease a car for 2 or 3 years and just bring it in and get a new one.
Yeah.
And actually, it is better than owning a car over here. The only way a car over here, if you own it, pays off is if you're driving very little and you keep the car for like 5-10 years. Great. Then it pays.
That's handy.
But a lot of people don't.
That's handy to do that with electric vehicles because a big cost of our electric vehicles, the batteries, they cost a shit ton of money. Yeah. So like if you're renting it, you're renting the battery sometimes only. So
I think that same concept is essentially kind of what they're doing here. And if you go with that concept, you technically can get into a computer and then 2 years later just roll it into a new one, and 2 years later roll into a new one.
Yeah. Imagine you could do that with one of these. Rent yourself a Starship for.
Sure, I'll just roll it right into a Starship, no problem.
I think I'd take that definitely. Yeah.
Instead of
I'll do that.
Instead of several quadrillion billion to build it,
I've got a picture. My background picture for those listening is of the USS Defiant from Star Trek, because you guys.
I'm the only one who has the real logo back.
What tier would that be? No, great. I'm not going to put in the same logo as you, because then Matt's going to feel the odd one out, and it'll be too many.
Hey, logos. I got Star Wars helmets. That'll do.
You do. That's the only thing I can see in the background is your helmet. Everything else is blurred. I can see your helmet though.
That's what all about. So you need to see.
I want to move on. One more subject to briefly discuss, and then we'll do the quiz. Now, I saw a couple articles, and I saved them because I thought it was something that's really, we've heard about this, okay, and we're going to discuss AI for a second. So 2 articles I saw, the headlines, it was kind of, interesting, troubling, I'm not sure.
Can I throw something else in?
Yeah.
I just going through the sections of renting a PC as I would as a customer, and they give you a shipping fee as well on top of that as 50 quid. So,
what?
Okay. You might as well just buy your own. Rent to buy. Sorry. There you go. Yeah.
Stop.
There you go.
All right. Let's roll on with the AI talk.
Go on, AI. Yeah.
So here's the headline. I'm not going to read the article, but the headline says it all. It says former GTA dev says it's time for, this is him quoting now, it's time for a revolution where animation is more AI driven and physics driven than done by hand. Okay, think about that for a second. And then I thought that was bad enough, but then I read another one. Again, this is just the headline article. I didn't read you don't have to even read it. You get it all in the headline. Activision uses AI-generated skins for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
I've seen
Community not pleased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. It looks
so where we were saying that this was going to creep into games eventually, it's not even eventually. Now it's already happening.
It's here. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a difficult
I don't know,
one.
man.
It's a difficult one. Gray, you got to look at it this way, right? I'm going to try and be devil's advocate here, as I always am. Yeah. So we started off back in the day, right? Let's look at animators for animation shows, right? Cartoons, whatever, right? They started off back in the day just drawing stuff, right? Literally a shit ton of content, drawing this. It was all manual like that because it had to be. And then we got to a stage where things evolved, computers started becoming a thing. So now there's a hybrid between the two. You still have to draw some stuff, but then you can feed it into a computer. You can do bits and bobs, boom, 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 and then out comes your animation. I'm sure there's a lot more to that. I'm sorry if any animators are offended. I don't know the process inside and out, but computers make your life a lot easier. Now, we get to this stage here with animation, or whatever else is in the game. I mean, animation, that's just one example. And AI comes along and takes your job. I'm just thinking of South Park. The Dicker Derbs. If you get South Park, And AI should be a tool. It should be a tool and a tool only. Find a way to keep people's jobs and AI at the same time and use it to make the game better. Because, look, computers came along, didn't put these guys out of a job. Maybe some of them for the animators out there. But people still had a job, so surely we can find a way to use a great tool like that, but not replace jobs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm with you there.
I will go back on the example you gave and tell you not necessarily where it goes wrong, but a different viewpoint. When the animators use a computer to assist them, the key word is assist. They still have to do a lot of drawing. They still come up with the concepts themselves. They still do hand drawings of what they envision, and then they go to the computer to assist. But what's happening here in the games is they're just sitting there going, "Hey, AI, create us this, create us a skin. Just do it," and it does it, and it gives a million different versions, and they just call it that one right there.
That one, yeah.
And that's it. No one did anything. No one created it. No one came up with it. No one drew it. They just gave it to the AI, and it pumps it out, and nobody knows better the difference unless an article like this comes out.
No.
Now, the scarier thing, though, is when this guy from GTA says, it's time for a revolution. Dude, and I wouldn't come out and say that. You're basically just telling everybody that your jobs are crap, and we don't really care. Get with it now, because everything is going to be, and then he says animation is more AI-driven and physics-driven than done by hand. How can you crush somebody that does games more than just with that one line.
Great. It's kind. There is truth in that. I'm not, again, devil's advocate. I'm trying to see both sides of it. There is some truth in it. I did touch on this before. Animators, again, there's more to this AI stuff than just animators, but that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Their jobs are not as in-depth as they once were, but they're still got a job. They're still using the tools that are available to them. That is kind of the way it's going. You will always need, I think, for the most part, actually hands-on at some point. Even if it's minimal, you'll still need something because you need to train up that AI. And then even then, look at. Do you know what procedural generated stuff is? You get it in a lot of games. Like my classic game of Rust is a great example of that. You've taught this map, this algorithm to change it every time. These guys here could be involved in that kind of stuff. They're programming it, but it's how do you keep them in a job after that as well, so they're not just thrown out with the rubbish.
Well, the problem with this is that where I see this going is that if you're going to let AI do pretty much all the creative work, then that means the creative work is now gone as far as any kind of human doing it. And that's the thing that scares me. One of the things that I think is inherent in especially humans is the fact that you can be creative. So if they want to, if they keep the human creativity about how they're going to do the story and they basically flesh out a storyboard and how that game is going to go and do some drawings and stuff like that, if from that point on, if they want AI to do everything else, even though I may not agree 100%, as long as the creativity was done by a bunch of people that have always loved gaming and are very creative, etc., at least I could stomach that. But when you start talking about, and I know it's going to happen, I'm 100% sure of this. There's going to be some companies, big or small or whatever, that are going to let AI do all the creativity with barely any input, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And just let it go, and that's gonna be
the point I was going to add to about the procedural generated stuff is that I forgot to add was sometimes it's good, but often it's very samey. So that's what's going to potentially happen here. You allow the AI to do too much. Everyone thinks of AI as this wondrous thing, and it kind of is, but it has to be taught and trained like a child.
It needs the input first before it can actually do anything.
Exactly, but you just hope that it doesn't then evolve on its own and turn into Skynet. Otherwise, we're all screwed. But you need someone to teach it and feed the information in. And it'll probably be these mugs here, these poor guys that are animators and whatnot that will lose their jobs afterwards. But they are important because this computer-generated stuff, AI computer-generated stuff, is going to be still a bit samey sometimes. There's only so much you can change things unless you've got you can't beat the imagination of a person. You can't.
True.
I mean, have you seen those things from Terminator, those big skeleton things? They don't look like they have any imagination. You want them to be programming your next game world or something? No, you don't.
Mercian was just saying jobs have come and go over history. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's the way they come and go over history is what matters. I mean, when you're talking about a car that replaced the horse, I get it. But when you're talking about pure creativity, that's one of the bases for humans, period. Okay, and just taking that completely away from them. Now you're talking about something a little different. And stuff. But anyway, this will become more of a discussion here and there on future podcasts, I'm sure, as we see what goes on.
Oh, yes.
But in the meantime, since we're coming in close to the end of the show, I want to get our quiz in.
Yeah, boy.
So this is the Extreme Gaming Podcast gaming quiz.
Sure.
So I will read the question because
not AI this time.
Yeah, no, I will tell you that I think no. Because I'm the one who did the thing, I do have the answers. So I will just let you two guys guess, and anybody out there on the chat wants to, you can chime in. First question. The first Star Wars video game made for the Atari 2600, going back now, was based on which film in the original trilogy? So again, the first
the original title
game. Sorry?
Do you want the original title or the new title?
The original title of the original trilogy. Which of the three movies was the game first Star Wars video game made for Atari 2600 based on? Any guesses?
The fourth or A New Hope? or the first, depending
Well,
on
A New
where you
Hope
are.
would be the first, and then
Yeah.
what Empire Strikes Back and
I
Yeah.
mean,
Jedi.
let's just go Empire Strikes Back. Screw it. Why not?
All right. What do you say, Matt?
I thought it was a New Hope because you're flying the wired X-wing and you're going through the Death Star.
Okay.
Yeah,
You ready for the
It's
answer?
a pure guess.
I'm ready for the answer.
The answer is Empire Strikes Back.
There
you go, Trev.
Press more often.
You get a point.
Better movie anyway. Better movie.
What's my prize?
All right. Next question. The third entry in an extreme.
You get a Yoda.
Sorry.
You get a Yoda for that one.
You get I didn't think about that. You get a baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to do better, and you get the real Yoda. It figures he has one. There you go. All right. Second question. The third entry in the extremely popular post-apocalyptic, I can say that, video game franchise was set in an area known as Capital Wasteland, which was the ruins of Washington, D.C. and the surrounding countryside. What is the name of this franchise? So a popular post-apocalyptic video game franchise was set in an area known as Capital Wasteland, which was the ruins of Washington, D.C. and the surrounding countryside. What is the name of this franchise?
Fallout. I'm just going to guess. It's probably not, but...
All right.
Fallout.
And Matt?
Go on. Fallout, yeah.
Guess what? You both get a point. Fallout.
Oh, it is. See, I thought actually it sounded more like the Division. Then I realized Division.
I was thinking that as well.
Division is not out, so that's not out.
When I first read it, I was sitting there going like, Division. Then I'm like, well, maybe not. I did look at the questions before I did the answers to my own self to see if it made sense. Last question. This is a good one too. And what is the name of the twin brother of Solid Snake, the protagonist of the Metal Gear franchise? So what is the name of the twin brother of Solid Snake, the protagonist of the Metal Gear franchise?
I know this one. It is Soft Snake.
Soft Snake? What do you say, Matt?
I don't know. I was going to say Fox, but that's the whole unit.
You're supposed to say Hard Snake if you want to go.
Solid Snake, Soft Snake,
Quick Snake.
I have no clue. Generally, I'm going to say Gary. His name's Gary.
Gary Snake. No problem. Come on, Matt. Come up with something. Just make it up.
Who's to say
Flimsy Snake.
Who's to say it's
What
something snake?
Flimsy Snake.
Who's to say?
You guys are half right. It is something snake. That much
is
I
it?
can
Right,
tell.
okay, that's the clue we needed, right? Okay, hang on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Solid Snake, Slimy Snake.
It is liquid.
What is that? What did you say,
I'm
Matt?
sure it is liquid, isn't it?
Ding, 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 ding. Matt wins.
What?
Isn't it?
It's a liquid snake.
What? Oh, fuck
Yeah.
off.
Believe it or not.
Grip. What?
I had no clue when I read
jammy
this the first
bugger.
time.
No, it's because you said it ages ago, so I was taking it.
Like, I didn't even know he had a twin brother.
No way you
I
got
was
that
like,
right.
what?
No way. Get on your bike.
So there you go. So we did that. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right.
There's another game I'm looking
Kind of
forward to.
winding down to the end of the podcast, but I appreciate everybody that in the chat that has been talking to us. Mercian, Katrin, I think, let's see who else was in there. Jansen was in there listening, and a couple other people. So thanks for coming along.
Whoa, don't call people out.
Mr. B, Wacky.
Some people want to be
So,
incognito
thank you.
and watch things.
Yeah,
right?
so well, not everybody like to talk right away. So I appreciate you all coming, and of course we will be back next week. We'll have some more new stuff to talk about as usual, and just wanted to say thanks, you guys. We couldn't do it without you, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot to talk about, and we will see you all next week. Everybody say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do.
Bye.